Yeah, this was that door I couldn't open. Oh? Oh, okay. Oh, she'll be fine. Ooh. Hey Maya, Yoshiki's that way. Maybe you should go that way. The sound that echoed through the hall was like that of a butcher slicing up a large chunk of meat, bone and all. Really? It sounded more blunt to me. Like blunt force. And this sound was accompanied by the dimly lit figure of Nana sprawled out on the ground in front of me. And then I turned and ran? Ooh, jeez. Or rather, part of Nana. My god. It was really just the top half of her body, severed cleanly at the thigh. Okay, well there's your leg thing. Her legs were completely gone. And the worst part is, she was still fully alert and aware. Urgh. So it's like uncomfortable for her if you get up and run away screaming. That, ugh. Is there etiquette for a situation like this? Hey Mayu, remember that bruise spreading all over your body? This grisly sight was too much for me to handle. I became weak in the knees and fell backwards. Landing on my butt, I couldn't move. Well, guess you're dead too. Nana was bending and contorting her back and writhing on the ground as if struggling to escape the pain and the fear. I wanted to help her, but I had no idea what I could do. Nothing had ever prepared me for a situation like this. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't even think. The sight of Nana's screaming body gushing blood every which way was burning itself into my mind. It was the most frightening thing I'd ever seen. I could sense the presence of another person in the shadows just behind Nana's torso. Really? You thought she did that to herself? Of course there's another person there. Who was it? The darkness was all-encompassing past a certain point, giving only the vaguest notion of a human silhouette within an inky black void. I'm thinking it's the Hammerman, because who else could do that in one stroke? Sachiko's sadistic, but she's not a frickin' tank. Yeah, I think that was the mystery room. That door should have led into the pool locker room. Oh, so we're just... okay. But the lighting, or lack of it, was completely wrong. There was also an indescribably foul odor wafting out from within, so powerful and revolting, that I felt I could never leave my senses again. And whatever being was lurking in the shadows of that horrible room was getting closer to me, step by step. So I got up and ran? You hear that? What is this, freaking pyramid head in there? I still couldn't make out a single feature, but frankly I didn't want to. Its existence alone was threatening enough. Whoever this was, I could sense his shadow posturing itself over Nana's head, as if preparing to swallow it whole. Like a crocodile. In fact, the shadow was beginning to resemble a crocodile more and more. Was this even a person? Excuse me? Oh, okay, there it is. The figure was now fully visible, and was indeed a person, I think. He grabbed Nana by the head, then turned and began dragging her into that horrid room. That's actually the scariest part. He sees you, and he's just like, I'll get you later. It's just like, ugh. She was clearly nearing death, as it took everything she had to scream in protest. Her voice was getting weaker and her writhing less pronounced. I couldn't even imagine how painful it must be to have one's severed body slowly dragged across the floor, exposed side down. It would be bad enough just having my head held in that massive filthy grip. No, grip isn't right the word. It really was more like a bite. Oh man, there is nothing to be done. And what sucks is that she didn't lose any vital organs. The legs alone, except for blood loss, would not kill you, so that's really gonna get bad. These are the panicked, primal screams of a person's last moments on Earth. It's a sound no one should ever have to hear, much less produce. And once you hear it, it's the kind of thing you'll be hearing again for the rest of your life. Nothing can ever wipe it from your memory. It stays with you. The reason I hesitated at "you'll be hearing," I was seriously, like, knee-jerk reaction going to say you can't unhear it. Not even kidding. It's just like Leatherface in the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Just cracks the guy with a hammer, drags him into a door, and just shuts it. And you're like, what? I sat there, dumbfounded, so disturbed that I could barely breathe, and watched the slow slither of Nana's body as she disappeared into the unknown. It only took a few seconds for her to vanish into blackness, but those were the longest few seconds of my life. And when she was gone, only a wide swath of blood remained, tracing her path down the hall and across that hellish threshold. Ugh, sure enough. Hey. You're gonna call for help, right? Because the threat is alive and willing to kill. Ugh. At least call for help before running in, because if you just run by yourself, then you are a grade A imbecile. Oh. Grade A imbecile it is. Gathering all my courage, I ran at full speed toward the black void, but found no room to enter. Beyond the door was nothing more than a solid wall. What is this, the freaking Matrix? It was just as Shinozaki had said. Right before my eyes, a human being was pulled into a space that simply no longer existed. Pulled out of reality. And yet, I could still hear her. I don't know about anywhere else. We've seen some of the other rooms in this school. You tried that. Just go somewhere else. I'll forgive you. Let's say for argument that you could get in there. You think you could take that guy? Let's say you could take the big guy. What are you gonna do with Nana once you have her? Seriously? I mean, honestly, I'd probably feel guilty too, but realistically, what the hell could you possibly do about it? She's half the woman she used to be? Sorry. I drop the joke every once in a while, but for Corpse Party, it really is distasteful. Mm-hmm. Finally adding it up together, aren't you? Stay away from... I was gonna say anything, but really the three children. Yeah. Yeah, about that. No, this is what you're supposed to be doing. You're doing it right. I opened my compact mirror and hesitantly brought it down to my abdomen, lifting my shirt and loosening my skirt a bit to get a better look. Oh, that's really ugly. I didn't have to look very hard. The color of the bruise on my abdomen had darkened significantly. It was far more pronounced now, practically pulsating in purplish red. It looked more like some kind of demented crest that had surfaced from deep inside my body. Point of impact.
色が濃くなってなんかはっきりしてきてる。何これ。なんで。ただのあざだよ。ほっといたらすぐに消えて。
I just kept telling myself that it would go away on its own. It was nothing, and I was starting to believe it. Feeling somewhat placated, I lifted the mirror up and prepared to shut it and put it away, when I caught a quick glimpse of my face. I saw fear, I saw sadness, I saw defeat, but I also saw something else. 3 children? I'm not sure if I'm seeing this right, but is it supposed to be like red all over her head? At first I doubted my eyes, but I wasn't seeing things, nor was it a smudge in the mirror. Oh boy. It was another discolored bruise, just like the one on my abdomen. It was nowhere near as dark, but it was definitely there, and given enough time it would probably get a lot darker. I tried spit shining it away with my finger, but all that did was make it wet. And each time I pressed down on it, the surrounding skin would turn white, creating greater contrast and making it stand out more. It wasn't going away. It wasn't going away. And if it just kept darkening, I might wind up like Nana. Torn apart at the seams. Yeah, you don't know the half of it. Let's hope she doesn't remember that dream from the beginning of the chapter, because that would not be good.
Suzumoto, どうかしたのか? なんか声聞こえたから気になってよ。小笠原はまだ見つかんねえのか?
心配ね。今からみんなで探し。鈴本さん? ダメ。しちゃダメ。
I took a step away from them despite myself.
どうしたんだよ。
お願い。来ないで。なんでもないから。何かあったの？その鏡に何か。なんでもない。何も映ってない。平気だから。私。
No, I couldn't let them see me like that. I didn't want them to see that hideous bruise. So I ran off by myself and let the inevitable happen. Good job.
おい、鈴本!
鈴本さん! どうしよう。どうしよう。また逃げてる。私。でもどこへ。あざを消さなきゃ。これを消さないと。でないと私ナナちゃんみたいに。
Oh no.
早く消さないと。
Oh no. I had some concealer on my makeup bag. Maybe I could hide it?
これなら見えないよね。あんなあざちょっと寝て目を覚ましたら治ってる。絶対に。
Yeah, I was getting all worked up over nothing. It was just a little mark on my face after all, and then I saw it was on the rest of my body. Probably just a result of all the stress I'd been feeling here. Once things calmed down, it would go away for sure. I can play? I gotta read this. Welcome back. Ugh. Our darkening's pretty awful. That's creepy as hell. Nothing to see here. The beds? Nothing to see here. Guess I'm out. Oops. Well, whatever.
あれ私ドア閉めたっけ
Oh no, I have to fight those monsters, the Silent Hill 2 bosses. It wouldn't open. And it wasn't like it was locked. Rather, it felt almost as someone were holding it closed with superhuman strength. Damn it, Laura, you snotty little brat! Oh, no. Suddenly I realized why. The door was wrapped multiple times over with thin black threads. How had I not noticed these a moment ago?
何髪の毛
I looked at it a bit more closely and concluded without question that that's exactly what it was. Human hair. I felt an unpleasant heat radiating all along my back muscles across my entire spine. I was being watched. There was some sort of moist, lukewarm presence in the room with me, and slowly but surely I could sense it moving.
誰かいるの
I was too scared to turn around.
保健室が
Oh good, it's the little boy. Oh! Is this gonna be like every chapter? Sachiko just concludes every chapter? This sucks. It was a little girl with a red dress. Probably a first or second grader. Her skin was as pale as pottery, contrasting with her lacquer-like hair, and she looked somehow familiar. I don't think she's supposed to look familiar to Mayu. No, she saw the picture in the paper.
この子新聞に載ってた殺人事件の生存者
Could I have the 3 kids back? They might have been better.
篠崎幸子嘘でしょだってあれ30年以上も前の保健室がまだ殺風景なの
I mean, you're not helping.
そうだ人体解剖標本人体解剖標本が欲しい
We did see those notes earlier, didn't we? This is going to suck. Ooh. And the third? Mm-hmm.
お姉ちゃんまた遊べるね
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. You and you 3 alone. And the chapter ends here. And the chapter ends here. Okay. Something was dripping onto the back of my hand. That's what I thought at first, anyway. If I'd started to cry, I wasn't aware, but considering what I was going through, it wouldn't have been surprising in any way. I wonder just how much I'd cried since getting sealed up in this godforsaken place. Probably more than I'd ever cried before in my entire life. But these weren't tears, were they? Was it blood, then? Did these children do something to me? Oh good, you're dead without even knowing it. This is a good thing. Sure enough, I reached up and touched my face, and my finger came in contact with something sticky. Something sticky and red. It was your face? You didn't notice? What happened? Whatever it was, you weren't aware of it, so keep doing that. Okay. Sachiko's answer was cold and disinterested, and came accompanied with a crooked, wry smile. She was just a child, yet one glance from her made every hair on my body stand on end. Probably because she's like a 40, 50-year-old child.
鏡で見てみたらどう？少しだけ待っててあげる。
Sachiko's face somehow made me feel as if there might be 2 sides to her, one gentle and one not. But regardless of which I was dealing with here, I wasn't about to go against a recommendation. I was legitimately curious myself. So I took out my compact, opened it, and... Yet what could this be? Because the injuries are supposed to be portentous, not actual things that explode. So are the bruises portentous of this run-through only? I thought they were just indicative of previous injuries. So much for your stomach. I hope we don't have to sit through that. Because we had to in the last game, and that was like the worst thing ever. The bruise I'd concealed with makeup had sprung back to the surface once again, though it could hardly be called a bruise anymore. My skin had literally split open from inside, and blood was beginning to seep out through the pinkish fissure, bead by bead. Oh, I hope this scene ends soon. Quick, find something hard to bash your head into. Make it quick. That's gonna friggin' hurt. Ugh. The bruise along my stomach and abdomen had followed suit, splitting open and dripping dark red blood everywhere. At this point, I'd completely lost any ability to think or reason. I was a goner and I knew it. Sachiko is a bitch. Yeah, I was a goner. I couldn't fight it. Somewhere deep in the pit of my soul, I knew there was no way out. This unimaginably cruel fate was predestined. I couldn't escape. Predestination concerns me, because that might mean that people are just screwed. Oh sure, I tried to run. I squirmed and resisted with every last bit of strength I had, but fate had me by the ankle, and it wasn't about to let go. If only I could force myself to lose consciousness. Maybe I could avoid the unbearable agony that I knew was coming, but sadly I wasn't that strong-willed. How ironic. The girl ghost was not strong-willed enough to, oh no, to lose consciousness. Okay, so she was also not strong. Never mind, no irony. I could feel the hands of the children all over my body, coming from virtually every direction, and they were really digging. Ugh. Let's just press X and get through this image quickly. Yeah, no time for commentary, let's go. Ugh. Ugh, I just hear Chopper in her voice and it's freaking weird. Ugh. I was seized with a pain unlike anything I'd ever even imagined possible before. I couldn't talk, couldn't move, couldn't even think. I felt like my head was going to explode under the pressure of the millions of nerves all telling my brain just how much every part of my body hurt. And it didn't stop. Every moment it grew worse and worse. Then I began to drift away. Oh, thank God. Ugh. Oh, bringing it back? Gotta keep that stain in the wall cannon. Ugh. Sachiko's voice sounded like it was far in the distance. It was then that I realized the agony I'd been feeling had changed. It was no longer pain, but chill. I didn't hurt anymore. I was just cold. So cold that I couldn't even feel my body. Chapter over? Chapter over? Yeah, about that. My final wish is that Shig be the one to find my body. Oh, that is delicious. Because he does. As long as it's not too revolting to look at anyway. Oh, don't worry about that. He has no problem with you. I want him to think I'm pretty. I miss him. Shig, bro. Chapter over? Chapter over? Yes. Oh, we're done. Oh my god. That was really uncomfortable. An alternate universe tale? Thank god. Please don't be Yuka's chapter. But she encounters Kizami, so I don't know. Yeah, I really want to hear those. Yeah, of course I'm going to save. Okay, well we're done with that at last. So now I'll stop the installment. Well, we certainly made a lot of progress today. We got through Chapter 2 with the good ending. Once again, the good ending is just despicable. Ugh. So Nana and Mayu are reverted to canon and are written out of the picture. Thank God every time I beat a chapter it tells me this is an alternate universe tale, because that was just unpleasant. He didn't need to go that bad. So once again, Yoshiki and Ayumi walk away. But to what? We've got another chapter coming up, and if it's Yuka's chapter, that chapter sucked in the first game anyway. So it's going to be really bad this time through. Until next time, everyone.